Welcome to the weekend edition of Simply Bitcoin, the channel that breaks down all the daily Bitcoin news from Twitter, the Daily Fail, the meme review, software releases, and the websites by Plebs. We got it all. Drop us a like and subscribe. You know the drill. All right, let's get into the numbers. Here we go.
What a dashboard.
We are currently at a block height of 666,390. The current Bitcoin price, 36,005. Chain rewrite days, 569. The total lightning capacity, 1,043.60 BTC. And the Bitcoin versus gold market cap, 5.60%.
Numbers are looking good. It's a small consolidation. It has us bored, but good things are on the horizon. That being said, Phil, it's time for
the Daily Fail. All right, so this was a thread going back and forth between Robert Breedlove and Elon Musk, okay? And I'm just going to read the last comment before our Daily Fail. So Robert Breedlove responded back to Elon Musk, money that exhibits the greatest energy density necessarily carries the most information about who did the work. Bitcoin is an apolitical, indisputable database, the only private property right independent of human opinions. Bitcoin is pure signal and zero noise. Okay. This person responds, I want to believe this, but as the BTC market cap grows, the volatility does not stabilize. With such a high volatility, it contradicts the safe premise. Another word, it was never designed to scale out as some like to frame it. Okay. So first of all, that is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. I can't even believe that he actually said that and didn't even think of it. The only way that anybody's making any money right now, okay, in current markets is with volatility, okay? That's what happens. It's price discovery. So it's absolutely ridiculous that you would even come up with this type of, opinion. And don't get me wrong, like even when I was a no coiner, I didn't come up with this kind of stupidity. I had other ridiculous reasons for not liking Bitcoin. But one thing that never bothered me was the volatility, because I inherently understood it's a brand new asset. The government doesn't really understand it. The people don't really understand it. It is going to go through price discovery. And as a result of going through price discovery, it is going to be volatile. I'm actually very pleased that it's volatile, okay? It means that it's fluctuating between different demands. This is a good thing. I'm not seeing a problem here.
Yeah. And I think that there's an education problem because of the mainstream media, right? I think that there's like a cognitive, that word cognitive something.
A bias.
Cognitive bias. And, it's very obvious. Once an asset increases in price, the volatility decreases. That's kind of a law, right? That doesn't go away. The jump from $0 to $100 Bitcoin was huge. That's 100x, right? But that's a huge percentage gain. But now that you're moving in these large numbers, for you to move 100x down or up, think about how much more you have to influence the market cap, right? So it's a lack of understanding, bad ideas, and look, he didn't get any engagement on it, right? He got 0 likes. And he's going to have fun staying poor. So
it definitely will.
It is what it is. That being said, Phil, it's time for
the Daily Meme Review.
All right, everybody. The meme for today is brought to us by another Simply Bitcoin meme lord, RDBTC. Let's check it out.
Alone, according to the New York Times, 18.5 million Bitcoin worth about $140 billion are currently being held in lost or stranded wallets. It's the premise for a great movie. Alone, according.
Okay, man. Great, absolutely great meme. Phenomenal meme. Very educational. It gets the message across. Phil, I'm going to give that a solid 8. What about you?
All right. I got to agree on all your points, and I went with solid 8.5.
Good scores all around. And look, we were just talking about it. We were just talking about how the mainstream media is a disservice to education of Bitcoin. There's why. This is literally like in the middle of the day, CNBC, which is supposed to be the financial mainstream media, and the guy doesn't even know, right? He doesn't even know. And this is the people that you're getting your information from. Like, no crap, we have people like that dude. It's not his fault. I mean, it is kind of, it's both their faults. What are your thoughts, Phil?
Doesn't that scare anyone that like these people are in front of millions of people just giving completely false information? I just don't. I mean, like it's the craziest thing ever. Like it's just completely false. They couldn't. That means they didn't do the bare minimum of research. The bare minimum.
It's absolutely terrifying, and that's why.
And you're supposed to believe these people about everything, right? You're supposed to believe them about medicine. You're supposed to believe them about healthcare. You're supposed to believe them about taxes, about finance. You're supposed to believe them about your life,
about recent political events, right? You have to believe them about everything.
You're supposed to believe them about everything, and they can't get something this simple right.
Oh, man, it's absolutely terrifying. This is why Bitcoin is going to take so many people off guard, and they're not going to know what hit them. It's just going to come as a storm. We're not even kidding. This is what Bitcoin has done for the last 10 years. But once you start once the market cap breaks $1 trillion, right, Phil, in my opinion, you can no longer ignore it, right? You can no longer ignore this. It no longer becomes this digital money. It now becomes a major player. And I already think it is a major player, right? And it's, oh my God, whatever, man. They're going to have fun staying poor too. Phil, it's time for
the Daily News, sponsored by Crypto Cloaks.
All right, everybody, this is a weekend edition of Simply Bitcoin. You guys know the drill. On the weekend, we kind of change it up a little bit, but we do have some news for you guys today. Let's check it out. The first piece of news is brought to us by Crypto Rand, and he says, breaking, Grayscale just bought 5,132 Bitcoin, which is worth around $190 million. Now, I get what you guys are saying. Like, what the hell? Why is that relevant? Grayscale is one of the biggest, biggest funds on the stock market. Why is this a big deal? This is a big deal because only 900 Bitcoin are mined every single day. And PayPal, Cash App, and now Grayscale, they're just scooping up all the new Bitcoin. So what happens when there's not enough to go around? The price reacts like it has been, right? So this is like the price to 40K. The price jump to 40K shouldn't come to a surprise to many of you if you've been watching Simply Bitcoin and if you've been paying attention to everything that's been going on, right? And Phil, you kind of touched upon this earlier, but it was a major piece of news because Elon Musk did interact with Robert Breedlove, and I just kind of want to read the whole thread because it was a pretty important moment, especially Bitcoin Twitter. So Elon Musk was replying to Ben. How do you pronounce that last name, Phil?
I guess it's Mesrick.
So Elon Musk was replying to Ben Mesrick. Ben said, "I'll tell you one thing: I'm never turning down getting paid in Bitcoin again. This is huge." Elon said, "Me neither." So I suspect, paying for Teslas and Bitcoin and trips to the moon should be coming very soon. And Robert Breedlove said, he's a Bitcoin thought leader, basically said, a lesson for Elon: money is simply a Bitcoin. No, I'm just kidding. Money is simply a tool for moving value across space-time. Gold was great for moving value across time, but not space. Fiat currency is great for moving value across space, but not time. Bitcoin is optimized for moving value across both space and time. He is absolutely right. Elon said, the thing we can call money is just an information system for labor allocation, which actually makes it very good. And you know what? I think Robert actually replied to this. He said, yes, and money that exhibits the greatest energy density necessarily carries the most information about who did the work. Bitcoin is an apolitical and indisruptible database, the only private property right independent of human opinions. Bitcoin is pure signal and zero noise. He's absolutely right. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Elon replied to that, and I think he said, I agree, or something like that, but I might be wrong. But it was a huge deal. This is a huge deal because this indicated that Elon at least said, he at least acknowledged, right, that Bitcoin's pretty awesome, right? Mm-hmm. And the next piece of news, what have we guys been telling you about mainstream media and the propaganda they push, right? So Reuters or whatever, spend as much as you can. International Monetary Fund head urges governments worldwide. So they want the people to spend their money. These are the same people, the party of Davos, that's pushing you will own nothing and be happy. Yeah, because all they do is they want you to spend and buy the people, the elites crap, right? So these guys are not the friend of Bitcoin. I just find it funny. Spend as much as you can because it's literally the opposite of Bitcoin, right? And guys, this is a small victory for the Bitcoiners. The FinCEN extends comment period for the controversial crypto wallet rule. Of course, they're referencing the $3,000 to $10,000 reporting thing that you have to do to FinCEN now, right? So, man, it's just good news all around. And Phil, what are your thoughts on the IMF and the FinCEN?
They just need to kick this can down the road. And at this point, they've got no magic tricks left. There's no rabbits in the hat. Okay, we're all done. So at this point, they need everybody to just spend as much as they possibly can and just get into that wheel, keep into that mindset that it's not worth anything and that I just need to exchange it for goods and services constantly. I'm afraid.
It's depressing, right?
I'm afraid, right? It is depressing. And it's also scary because they're just like, I don't understand why the denial, I don't understand why the fear of going to good money. If something is good, truly good for humanity in the long run, why do we have these people that claim that they are, protecting and doing good for, or whatever it is, for humanity. And they have these ridiculous ideas that entrench us, into more slavery.
Absolutely. And it's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Their system needs us, but Bitcoin doesn't need us. That's the advantage. Bitcoin keeps finding blocks every 10 minutes. A block is found every 10 minutes, no matter what, whether there's a lot of people on the network, and the difficulty changes. The mining difficulty adjusts to how much activity is on the network or how much mining activity is on the network. But the fiat system, it falls apart if people are not consuming, if people are not constantly spending, right? Mm-hmm. And that is very depressing, Phil. I think you're absolutely right, because it's like, man, it's like, what if you just want to save for a rainy day? That's like, if you look at America, like no one has any savings, right? And this is why, because the whole fiat system is based on consumption, spending, and the system wants you to do that. There's no responsibility. There's no whatever. And that kind of explains a lot of the world's problems, right? So the question is the system broken? Or is there a better system, right? So it's like so many questions, but they're not asked, right? It's like the mainstream media doesn't want you to know something, right? And we've been showing you tons of examples, especially this week, of the mainstream media literally not reporting on the huge news of inflation, the amount of money they printed, Phil. And they want you to worry about the boogeyman, Bitcoin. They wanted to tell you that the New York Times reported that all the Bitcoin is apparently lost because everyone lost the password, right? So it's such bullshit, right? It just is, Phil. Anyways, Phil, there was an awesome website by Plebe. Why don't you tell everybody?
Yeah, websites by Plebs. All right, so got to give a shout out to DVTBTC, our one of our fans who always tags us in tweets, and this one is this was a tweet that we were tagged in by Miguel Medeiros from DVTBTC, and we are going to go to this website right now. It's essentially it's a website about how many satoshis. Hold on here, let me pull this thing up. How many satoshis are there per person in the world? And it's pretty cool. It's a live counter. So I think that's a cool thing that he did. It's a cool little website with a nice little piece of information. So shout out to him. The details to that site will be in the show notes down below.
Awesome. Thank you, Bill. That website was so bullish because it makes you understand how rare Bitcoin is. And literally, like, if you have one Bitcoin, you are in an elite class. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. There's literally not enough to go around, right? And wait till everybody finds out. They're all going to just flood in. And that's exactly what's happening, right? We're not just making this up, right? So, man, all Amazing website. Shout out to that guy. Anyways, guys, that was our show. If you guys like the show, you know what to do. Hit that like button. If you guys love the show, subscribe. And of course, we'll see you on Tuesday for another episode of Simply Bitcoin.